Okay, so welcome back to another video here. Today I have for you a different format video. As you notice here, I'm not even at my unboxing desk as I would normally do for this type of video. And I want to share with you the second part to the tips and tricks on the Tab S6 Lite video that I made, I believe, a few months ago. So we're just going to go ahead and fly through this here. The first thing, we're going to go ahead and just start off very simple, just like we did with that video. The first thing is, let's say you want to change the navigation bar here. Let's say you want to do something that is similar to what you would get on an iOS device. The way you change the way you get rid of these three items, I'll show you in just a moment what it would look like if you haven't done it before. So you just, go to your settings, access it, however you normally do, and you would go to display, I believe. Yeah, you would go to display, and then you would go to navigation bar, right? As of now, when it comes stock, it comes with these three items, the back button, the home, and of course you want to recall of all of your apps, and that's where it is right now. So if you want to use it so that you can swipe up and swipe, as you can see it showing here, you could just go there and select that one, and you have the ability to really, let's say you have more options on how you want to play with that. You could get it so you get three bars at the bottom, and each one would play the role of, what you would normally get with the standard setup, right? So the back button would be to swipe up. Why don't I just go ahead and show you guys? It actually showed up already. So if you want to go back, you just swipe up and it will go back, right? And if you want to go to the main menu, it will replace the main menu. You just swipe up. It's going to go, not the main menu, on the desktop is what I meant. It's late, And if you want to recall all your apps, of course, you will use the third one and we'll go back to where we were. Now, I typically don't use that. You also have the option to use just one. You could go so that you just have that one, and you see it's a larger bar here. If you swipe that up, that's going to take you to your desktop. You could either go back to your settings. I usually have my settings there. But anyways, so you can go back in there, and where was I? We were at display, and we can go back into it. And as you can see, when you have this, you still need to be able to get back, to the previous screen as you would do. But here, what you would do is you will swipe. You can swipe either this way or this way, right? As it's showing somewhere here, if you notice. I'm not sure if the camera is capturing that. But if you just go like that, it's going to go back. Oops, actually. There you go. So if we want to go back, that goes to the previous screen. A little bit like that. And that goes to the previous screen. All right, so that's going to be the first tip that I have for you here. Oops. The first tip that I have for you here. Okay, so now the next tip that I want to share with you here is it doesn't really require me to be in landscape mode, but I just want to show you both modes, right? So this is still staying in the theme of maybe getting rid of, some extra items just to increase a little bit of the screen real estate right now, assuming you're using Samsung Internet, which I suggest you use because it's one of the, this app is very well optimized to work very well with these Galaxy tablets, right? So if you're using the Samsung Internet, and you want to get rid of some of these items here, what you would do here is, let's see here, if you go to the settings, so you hit the three bars at the top right there, you go to the settings here, you'll be able to get rid of some of the items, as I mentioned, like the status bar here. If we have, the status bar should be, we want to go to appearance. After we go there, we go to settings, then appearance. And the status bar actually is already off. So, I'm sorry, you can hit that off, and then it will get rid of this status bar, and you can see that it goes up, right? So when you get rid of it, it increases a little bit of that screen real estate. You see, we don't see the writings here, but once you get rid of that, it goes up some. And then you can go even a little bit further with that. You could get rid of the tabs, as you can see here. You don't want to show the tabs. So let's say you hit never, it goes up even further. Now it's starting to show even the third picture there. So that's just another way for you to increase the screen real estate. Now I have to note that it really works well just when it's in landscape mode. If you are in portrait mode like this here, the status bar is always going to be there. Whether you get rid of it or not, whether you toggle this thing on or off, it's always going to be there, right? So it won't really help. However, the tabs, you can still get rid of it here, and it would, increase a little bit. So just something to note here. Oh, by the way, if this is your first time visiting, well, welcome to the channel, of course. If you do like the content so far, I very much appreciate that. Now, please do me a huge favor. Hit both the like and the subscribe button there. It's a huge boost to this channel here, and again, I truly appreciate that. All right, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is going to be the clipboard edge, right? So on the side here, I'm assuming if you've been using your tablet for a while, then you know that you can kind of call some of your apps just using this little edge panel here. So I have some apps that I use here. What I wanted to show you is I actually have a few different things here. Let's just go to the settings. So if you go to the settings, then you'll be able to choose what you want to keep on that edge panel, right? So I wanted to show you this one, the clipboard one, right? So, oops, actually, let me just go back to it. So the clipboard is right here. So everything that you copy, and I believe I talked about this in my tips on the Galaxy Tab S7, anything I copy is just going to be added to that clipboard, right? So if we just say copy the image there, it's going to be added to it. If I pull it, right there, you see that it's added there, and it's very neat to have that option, because then when you can recall that anytime. Let's say you just typing a note real quick, let's say, right, so let's say we're just using keyboard to say something, I don't know, whatever you're typing, you can always recall that, and you can even drag that and put that in notes, right, and then continue saying whatever you were saying. So just one tip I wanted to show you there. And again, as I mentioned, you can always play with the edge panel. I have a bunch of things here, of course. I have apps that I want, if I want to recall, and I want to, well, I guess this leads into the next tip here. If we want to do split screen, right? There's a bunch of ways, well, maybe not a bunch of, there are a couple of ways you can do split screen. So one of the ways you can do that would be to, when you have one thing open here, you could just call that edge panel and then just drag something else here. And then that's going to give you that split screen. So, and this also is going to lead into the next tip here. And the next tip here is that you can save whatever setup you're working with here. So this is a split screen, whatever you're working with. You hit these three dots in the middle here, and that's going to save this little, oops, this is going to show kind of like a logo of the tablet with a plus sign. So once you hit that, see here, it shows that it went there. And of course, the other one, you can just hit that to, you know, switch back and forth with it. If you don't, you can drag it if you want up and down, you know, up to you, or you could just manually do it that way and flip it. That's another tip also. So it led to quite a few tips here. It's going to lead into the next one. And the next one here is it's a very interesting one. Now, it's going to touch up on the Galaxy Store. It really will help you take advantage of your tablet. You know, you have such a powerful machine. I mean, when I say powerful, relatively powerful machine, and you could do so many things with it now. And this is going to play into the productivity. I'm just going to show you another way of, you know, doing split screen. The second way of doing split screen. So this is just kind of like a parenthesis of a tip before we continue with the other tips. So you could recall all of your apps, right? So when you recall all your apps, you click and hold, and you get this little pop-up menu, and you can do open in split view. It's going to open in a way where it's waiting for you to go through your list of apps and choose what you want to go ahead and add to that, right? So very simple, very straightforward. So if we go ahead and add the clock, it'll be right there, and we can go ahead and choose to play with it, you know, play with the setup, right? However you want to go ahead and do that. I am able to do quite a few things at the same time, but the problem is when you have something like the Instagram app built to stay, you know, it's locked into this position. You cannot have this app go in landscape mode. It's always going to stay in portrait mode, just, you know, so that it allows you to, you know, kind of navigate through it without any issues, because it would just be weird in landscape mode, I think. But anyway, I will be able to add Instagram to one of these in a way where I'm then able to put it in landscape mode, and it works well. And I will show you in a moment. So the Galaxy Store, you want to go to the Galaxy Store, and you want to go to the search box, and you are going to look for the Good Lock. So not Good Luck, but Good Lock app. So once you download that, you will have it here. and you will open the Good Lock app, and you want to go in and make sure that you download the Multi-Star app within that, right? So once you do that, see what happens when I don't enable things in the Multi-Star. So if I open Instagram here, and let's say I want to do a multi-app and add something to it, look what's going to happen. The menu that I have here only gives me two options: the app info and lock this app. That's it. It doesn't give me the option as, let's say if I click on notes here, for example, you get that larger menu, right? And then you get the option to open in split view so you can tag another application to it. Instagram will never allow you to do that. Now, with the app that you downloaded from the Galaxy Store, then you download another app within that Good Lock app, it will allow you to then force Instagram to accept other applications being tagged to it so that you have a split screen view. As I mentioned, Good Luck app, then you go to Multi-Star, download that, which I did. And after you download it, you go in Multi-Star, and there we are going to enable things that are going to force the Instagram app to accept other applications. All right. Now, keep things simple. Don't try to figure out what's what. Well, if you have the time to do it, you could go ahead and do that. But what I do here is I just come in and I just toggle most things, right? Everything that I can. So I'm just going to toggle. Cancel this one. I'm going to toggle this thing last because it's going to require for me to restart the tablet. So we're going to toggle everything else on. Yeah, that's good enough already. And then you want to enable that multi-window to all apps last because it will require you to restart your tablet. And we're going to go ahead and restart that. Okay, so now we are back here after restarting the device. Look at what happened when I go back to actually, that's not even what we were trying to do. We were trying to recall all of the apps. And now look at what happens when I go here and hold it. Now you get the full menu. Just make sure that you can see that. You get the full menu. And you can now do split screen with Instagram, which tons of people have always wanted. And remember earlier, I couldn't, well, let's go ahead and just add Twitter to it, right? So it's going to be side by side. And if you remember earlier, Instagram, you could not flip it and put it in landscape mode. But now, oops, look at what happens here. Just bear with me. The setup is what it is. Now you have Instagram right there. Isn't that cool? This is one of the coolest thing about this. So you can force app, and I believe there's another third-party application you can use to do that. But this is something native that you can use to do with your Instagram. All right, so then we could go ahead and even add another application. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the next tip here. And I'm back to my regular navigation bar because I prefer it this way. And we are going to talk about let's say the translation. I'm just really going randomly. Let's talk about the fact that you can translate text. Oops, you could just go here. The way you do it is you have the translate app right there. Once you hit that, it will turn the tip of your S Pen here into kind of a translator. Well, that was a bad way of saying it, but anyway, so here you can choose which languages you want to translate from and to, and you can play with that, vice versa. So if we were to go to, let's say, Google, and just what you would do is you would just hover. Let's say we want to do English to French, and you could just hover over it, and it will tell you what it will be like. You know what, let's try a different word because apparently it's the same word. Okay, so you go here, hover over that, highlight it, and it will translate everything as you can see here, right? From English to French. So that's just one tip there. Let's say we want to do, we already did the select and extract note. We want to do a screenshot. That's another one. I'm assuming maybe you know by now, but here's something that's pretty cool, right? So for the screenshot, you may be familiar with it already. So let's say if we go to this website here, for example, let me just get rid of that. So we want to go to this website. Here's something really cool. So we want to visit the website. We're going to take a screenshot. I'm going to show you Had to take that. Well, actually, why don't we just do it here? So screenshot would be the power button and the down button. It took the screenshot. And here's something that's pretty cool about this. If you go to your photos, which in my case is going to be here, you go to the photos and you go to that last screenshot we just took today. If you come here, you see that it can take you to the website. So if you click it, so that screenshot, that picture is saved, is also a link. Once you click that, it could take you. So if you take a screenshot of something and then, weeks or months later, you go back to your pictures and you see it and then you start thinking, well, where did I get this from? You can always just click that and it will take you to the website. I think we've covered a good chunk for today. So I may make another one depending on how well this one does. If it doesn't do well, then I just skip it. But if it does well, then we will go ahead and make another one. Well, I do appreciate you watching this. If you've been watching till this time, I'm hoping that you have learned something. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, of course. And I will catch you in the comment section. And in the next video, up until then, stay safe out there.